Hi, happy Sunday, everyone. Happy Sunday to you all. Welcome. It's the Sunday Brunch show. Good to see you all. Hopefully, everyone had a good night's sleep. And didn't have to run from any aliens. Oh my goodness. Well, happy Father's Day to everybody. If you are a dad, we wish you a very happy Father's Day. Why is it that I sit down with the tissue and then quickly lose it? Oh, well, I guess the tissue is gone. Oh, well. There it is. I need a glass of water. So, everyone, hello. Let's have a conversation. My name is Whimsy, and I am broadcasting live from somewhere in downtown Portland, Oregon. So, l'chaim, l'chaim. I'm having a nice ice water here and a lovely cup of Cafe d'Art coffee, courtesy of 1111. Please be free to tell us here at the table who you are, where you're coming from, what you eating, what you're drinking, what part of the world you're coming from. This is our Sunday brunch, and we invite you to join us here at the table where we get together with people from all over the world in a spirit of goodwill. Please be kind to all so that all can be kind to you. That is our only rule at the table. We accept everyone. Republican, Democrat, we welcome everyone here. Please be kind to all. And we accept everyone. Gender, schmender, we don't care. We are here to welcome you to a lovely brunch. And so tell us a little bit about yourself if you have joined the table. Say hello to the person next to you in the virtual world as well. Good to see you here. Hi, Joel. Say also hi to our moderators. They are walking the virtual floor as we speak, making sure that your questions, your concerns get answered. The main guy with the microphone is the Honorable Joel Tilson. He is going to be making sure that everybody is seen and heard. And he will be also consolidating some of the questions for me because unfortunately I don't have the best eyesight. I bought some, what is it called? Endive? No, not endive. One of these fancy lettuces. I think I'm going to do something with it. I want to make like a fancy salad. Oops. I overfilled my water. Hi, aggravated progressive. Good to see you. Happy Father's Day to you. Hi, Karen W. Great to see you. She's having a fat sandwich. Hi, Grandma Kitties and Halloween Stories. Hi, Laura Lynn. Hi, Ann Dillon in New Hampshire. MJ420 in Minnesota. Great to see you here. Sarah Eschweller, wonderful to see you as well. J Cat Lady, hello. Hi, Patrice. Good to see you. Cynthia Cameron's in the house. Jamie Johnson. Hi, Geocosmic Valentine, also a moderator. Glad to have you here. Oh, my nose itches. Happy brunch to you as well. Hi, Pomona. Oh, Palladians? Oh, I saw gray, but who knows? I mean, I don't know anything about it. I just remote viewed the aliens. And I took it as the rabbit hole, which is what we do. This is a rabbit hole here on my channel, right? So we go down the excuse me, we go down the rabbit hole in HCRV into the realm of our imagination. We let ourselves fall into the experience of the remote, asking ourselves a series of questions. Well, what would I do? What would I do if I was an alien? Why would I be on somebody's roof if I was an alien? Why is the co-pilot in the tractor? Let's talk about it. Let's break down my lucid dream on the aliens. Who here thinks it's just a story? The lucid dream that Whimsy had. Let's talk about it. Do you think it was real, based on some truth, or Whimsy's active imagination? Are we looking at aliens? It's just a story. TR says, I think it's just a story. Okay. In the story there was, I put myself in the shoes of the crashing plane as I imagined what would happen, and put myself in the shoes of a co-pilot and when I looked to my right, there was a female co-pilot. We exit through a pod, we crash in someone's backyard. I wind up on the roof to try and get a signal because the pod is damaged. A retrieval crew comes and gets us out of there. Why do you think that the lead commander ordered the female co-pilot into the tractor in the remote? Why does she take the motherboard and go into the tractor? Follow the logic. Why was the commanding officer, what was going on with the commanding officer in the lucid dream? Let's imagine that it's just a movie in Hollywood and we're just talking about a Hollywood movie. Then we'll have less emotional attachment to it. So in the dream, the commanding officer orders his co-pilot into the tractor. Why? What were my thoughts at that moment as the commanding officer? So here's the response I got back. In our early training, similar to humans, we have military training that's a lot like human military training. And one of the scenarios that we are trained in is what to do in a situation like this, a crash, where we are potentially vulnerable to humans seeing us. In the event of this crash, everything that could go wrong went wrong, including our cloaking device. I ordered my co-pilot into the tractor because the tractor had hard metal, and if they started shooting at her, I could keep her alive. And so one of the things that we're trained to do in these situations as military officers in our world is to take cover, because this is going to come as a shock to you humans, but I really want you to hear it. You're probably, your weapons are advanced beyond the capabilities of most worlds we visit. Most species don't spend this much time learning how to kill other species. And so you're of particular interest to us because you're using your ability to reason and use science almost exclusively in the area of weapons development. And that's just something that you have to understand we don't see in other civilizations. They don't use the scientific method to the extent that you do to kill other beings. And so consequently, I have to keep my co-pilot alive. So that was why I put her into the tractor. She's not trained in weapons. She's a scientist. She's a co-pilot. She's not going to be picking up a gun, the equivalent of a weapon, and firing. What she did was she put up a cloaking device, which was a gargoyle, in front of the pod. I want to be clear that the prime directive at that point was to protect our equipment from retrieval. And that we do everything in our power not to hurt people, but if you come near the pod, we are ordered to do what is necessary to protect the equipment. We can't have that stuff fall into human hands. We're not violent, and we will do everything in our power not to hurt you, which is why they put the gargoyle up. The gargoyle also acts as a decoy. If you're going to fire at something, you're going to fire at the holographic image she put up with the motherboard. Also, it scared people off, but you have to put yourself in our situation. The human race is one of the most violent species that we've encountered. And it's my responsibility as the lead officer to make sure my crew gets out of there in one piece. From your perspective, you're scared to death of us, but you have to understand from our perspective, we're scared to death of you, which is one of the reasons why so much of this is on the down low. You're emotionally unstable, and your weapons are far too advanced. We're concerned about your Star Wars capability. We're concerned about your nuclear weapons capability. And we've had bases here for a long time. And one of the things we've been monitoring is the fact that you just love to develop more and more and more advanced weapons, even to the point of being able to fire incredibly destructive weapons from space. And so when we talk about reconnaissance missions, leaving from Earth and going out and looking at things, part of what we're looking at is we're monitoring some of your satellites, which have become militarized, your nuclear bases, etc. And then the time will come when this experiment ends. In answer to the questions about looking human, you have to understand that Earth is toxic to many life forms. Oxygen is a toxic gas. When you look at the evolution of life on this planet, the first life was anaerobic fungi, which probably come from outer space, right? So we think that fungi, mushrooms, may in fact be another alien species that is intelligent. And so they're going to take their genetic material and they're going to create some kind of a species that can survive in that atmosphere, because the gases on this planet are extremely toxic. So if you look at the evolution of the planet, we start with anaerobic fungi because they can survive in a low oxygen terrain. But then as oxygen levels begin to rise on Earth, we evolve what are called aerobic, or bacteria that can survive at a higher oxygen level. And so what they were explaining is the reason why this genetic research went on was simply so that they could survive in the atmosphere. And anything else that he said, just that was shocking to me. I didn't think in those terms. Why would we assume that just because we are an advanced race that we are as far along in weapons as you are? We never had a prime directive to go around slaughtering everybody. There's no reason we would have had weapons with that kind of advanced capability. We have defense systems, but we're not it's just not the prime directive. It seems to be the human prime directive who is going to create the more aggressive violence. Eventually, you'll probably blow yourselves up. But for now, we're just monitoring it. The third co-pilot. People had asked me about the third co-pilot on the back of the tractor. I'll speak as the main pilot. When I said that my co-pilot, she's a scientist, you'll be able to see more of her with the motherboard. You can also see her reflection in the mirror if you're having trouble seeing her. When I said, I'm speaking as the co-pilot, that she's not gonna hurt you, I meant it, but the guy in the back is a whole other story. If you attempt to take the equipment, if you attempt to touch the pod, he will shoot to kill. It's a situation we almost never get into, but it can happen. So number one, cloak. Number two, take cover, because humans have extremely advanced weapons capability that, quite frankly, we don't. We have defense capability. We've been doing some stuff with lasers, but to be quite honest with you folks, you're already there because you have spent so much of your money and time trying to get there. Yeah. And that was the whole dream, from everyone's perspective down the rabbit hole. So people are gonna get confused by the gargoyle sitting in front of the tractor. And they're gonna think that the gargoyle is some weird species because they don't understand that what you really should be looking at is the little petite being with the motherboard that's creating a decoy. You're gonna shoot something, shoot the gargoyle. Look at the gargoyle, don't look at the cowering scientist who's only 3 feet tall with the motherboard. What I love about this remote, and what I love about empathy experiments, if any part of this was real or just an experiment in me learning to be empathetic, is that if another species were to land on Earth and to know anything about human beings, is it possible that that would be precisely how they would think? Would they, in this rabbit hole of imagination that is whimsy, would they seek cover in a tractor? Would the commanding officer order his co-pilot into the tractor in case they start firing? Would he order his back pilot to secure the pod? Would he say, we're not a particularly violent species, but if you touch our equipment and attempt to retrieve it, we will kill you? Our main directive at this point is to get the equipment secured and back to base. We'll be out of your hair in no time. Would they act like that? Well, we don't know because we're putting a human spin on it. But if humans were to land on another planet and to have that type of equipment, we could say, yeah, they would probably act like that. And so that is the rabbit hole, right? There's a part of us that's always going to put a human perspective on any of these exercises, right? But we still do the exercises because they expand our mind and they allow us to see things in a totally new light rather than just seeing them through our own lens. It's a very interesting conversation, and we should remain humble and not be arrogant as scientists. I'm a published scientist, and I'm not saying that to brag at all. I really am not. I'm saying it because I can do data collection, right? One of the things that people had asked me to do also was to talk to people a little bit about astrophysics. I'm not an astrophysicist, but I was pre-med, and 20 years ago, we had to do a year of physics, right? Those of us who are doctors, right? So we can talk about it from an astrophysics perspective, but I'm brushing off a pre-med from 20 years ago. But one of the things, and I would like other people to have this conversation with me because I'm not the only person who took physics in college. So NASA is saying that it was a meteor. So let's have that conversation with those of you who are going to brush off your old chemistry and physics educations from God knows when, right? What do we know about when a meteor hits the atmosphere? It burns. What burns? So the metal is burning, right? The metal is burning in the meteor, right? So you don't have, right, exactly. It burns, right? The metal burns. What do we know about metal? We know that it has a high temperature burn rate, right? So when a ship has been in a crash and is coming in on reentry, how do we know the difference between that and a meteor? Just in terms of, let's just talk pure astrophysics. There you go. Joanna's got it. Different things burn at different rates. Would you agree? So fuel is going to burn at a much lower temperature. It's going to explode when it hits the atmosphere. If you lose a panel, which is what the main pilot said they had lost in the dream. We're calling this a dream. He said we lost a panel on reentry on the north underneath where the pilot sits on the northwest portion of the ship. And we evacuated via a pod underneath the ship. This is the dream as I was walking through the experience. So what happens when astronauts crash? What do we see? We see it re-entry, and then it's vulnerable because you lose a panel. The heat touches the vehicle, and what's the first that's going to get ignited? The fuel, right? And so the fuel is going to be where? It's going to be in the center of the burning object. Are you going to see different colors when a vehicle crashes because you've got different things burning? If you look at metal and the way that any metal, particularly the heavy metals, they were talking about recovering heavy metals. What's the significance of heavy metals and burn rates and how they're connected, right? It's going to take a lot of heat to break the bonds of something like, say, steel. Would you agree? What about the bonds of something liquid like a fuel source? So if you take a look at the film, this is just basic physics. So when you look at the film footage of something like the Challenger exploding, what you see is you see a central heat core, which is going to give off a different color than the surrounding metal, right? Because it's burning at a different rate, and the electrons are doing something different than they would be doing at something more solid like a metal. So we see the meteor come, they're calling a meteor come in. But if you take a look at the meteor coming in and crashing, you see on the northwest side of that vehicle, there's an ignition that happens. There's fire coming, and there's a temperature difference in this thing they're calling a meteor as it comes in. Then you will hear it. You'll see an explosion on impact. That's not unusual because of the amount of heat. But it just looks to me as a viewer, as somebody that does have physics training, a little bit of physics education, that we're not looking at a meteorite, because a meteorite burns differently. A meteor will burn on the outside when the metal hits the heat and it begins to be stimulated. It will break apart because of the metal inside. You don't have a core central heat because you don't have a fuel source. And that's the difference that scientists look at when these things start landing. So that doesn't mean it's an alien, by the way. It could have been an experimental craft out in the desert that Elon Musk sent out, and it came blowing up, and it had fuel in it, and that was why we saw what we saw. I'm not saying it's an alien craft. I'm just saying based on what I saw, thank you, Mel, it looked like the thing had a central fuel source. And that's not what you would see when a meteor crashes. So anybody who knows more than me, correct me. But there are things you can tell when something's plummeting towards Earth and burning, just as just basic physics, basic chemistry of how we understand metals burn, fuel burns, combustion, they don't look the same. They don't leave the same marks when they come into the atmosphere. So I guess my question to you is, did you see a meteor or did you see a ship? Because I saw a meteor. I didn't see a meteor. I saw a ship. I saw a ship crashing. That was my impression. Not saying it was an alien. Could be on one of Elon Musk's things. There you go. You guys are doing it. They give off, if you have something that has a really tight bond like metal, it gets stimulated and comes back the electrons, and it gives off a different color than something that would be a combustion, right? So the science-based people that know what I'm talking about looked at the film footage, and the majority conclusion is that what entered the atmosphere looks like it had the signature of being a ship with a fuel source. Again, could be one of Elon Musk's toys, who knows? So that's what I got from you. I'm not saying it was an alien. I'm just saying it wasn't a meteor based on what I saw. All right, are we ready to do the collective reading for me? I take everything I do with a grain of salt. It's entertainment. Yeah, Mel is very good at this sort of thing. Mel is explaining things beautifully. It's the ionic bonds in some of these metals, but you want to have pretty tight bonds on the outside of your ship, because particularly when you're talking about the panels to protect. But it's really cool. Go take a look at the film footage and then slow it down, and you'll see what we're talking about. Well, you just have more uniformity. You don't have it's not hotter in the center in a meteor because it's burning on the outer as it reaches in, as it's the heat is coming from the environment. It's not coming from an internal heat source from fuel. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's, what would you guys like to do? I would love to know, just as a scientist, like woo-woo aside, because, again, I'm willing to admit that I'm wrong, but if you're just asking me, looking at signatures, look to me like a ship with a fuel source. Maybe it's Elon Musk. You're just asking me, like, joking aside, woo-woo aside, maybe somebody's private, whatever. That's where my head would go. Why did they lie? That's what I can't figure out. Why would NASA look at it and call it a meteor? It just seems kind of weird to me. You would think that if a private program was having a ship on reentry, an experimental ship coming back in on reentry, that they would have notified Cape Canaveral, the US military, that they were doing an experiment, that they were doing a launch. What do you think? Oh, you're a chemistry nerd? Well, Mel, you're a chemistry nerd. Did you see the film footage? I would like Mel's opinion as a chemist. Did you see a ship with a fuel source, or did you see a meteor? And I want you to be completely honest. You don't have to agree with me. I swear that ice water is making me cough. Interesting conversation. Be open-minded. Scientists should be open-minded. But no, I wanted other people's opinion because it looked to me like the northwest side blew up. Like it looked like it looked like exactly what the aliens said. Like it was coming in like this, and then the heated part was that vulnerable northwest side, and so it goes like that. I'm like, oh, fuel source. Let's do the empath's prayer. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. So I wanted to also give gratitude to Debbie Brady. She's here today. She's developed some of our merch for the show. If you'd like to support the show, purchase the Empath's Prayer on a t-shirt or a cup. The money goes to support the channel. Yeah, just wanted to let people know. Okay, let's do the collective. Where you are at right now. This is a really good time in the lives of many of you. This is a time where I feel as if sanity has prevailed. It's like the Aquarius male, is seen in, if you read those, I always think of Aquarius male because I like Aquarius men, like I date a lot of Aquarius men, but it's that strong logic energy. It's the masculine aspect of it. You have the Queen of Swords, which is the female, which often has a court aspect to it. But the King of Swords, he clears the clouds of confusion in your life. The clouds are parting, and he holds the sword of truth that is associated with Archangel Michael, the work of Archangel Michael. It's when we clear confusion in our life. So many of you just aren't confused. You're getting your head on straight, right? We know why we are here. We are here to create heaven on earth. That's the prime directive, right? You are here. What's your plan? Krista Tavola. What's your plan? Jackie Shaheen. What's your plan? Jamie Johnson. What's your plan? Mel Pabona, Geocosmic. It's this idea that we get very clear in our head about why we are on the earth, and that is to create heaven on earth and to get busy with the plan of creating our personal heaven on earth so that we can share it with the world and help the world become a better place, a happier place. So King of Swords is clear-headed, and your karma card is that your wish has been granted. What do you want? Be honest. The King of Swords has a dominant male, almost military aspect to it, and I'll be honest with you, he's a little intimidating. He's like, Daddy Don, right? What do you want, baby? What do you want? I can't give it to you if you don't tell me. You got to stop being afraid of telling people what you want and going for it. So King of Swords has that kind of aspect. He carries a big sword. He forces you to see the truth of your life. You got to be honest about who you are. You got to be honest about what it is you really want. Yeah, I like being a doctor, but I also like being a comedian, right? It's fun. It's fun. This is my personal fun. This is my personal heaven. I like hanging out with my friends and doing goofy little HCRV, etc. This is my heaven. And so when I'm happy in my heaven doing my HCRV and I'm laughing, people come here and hopefully they feel better because they've come to this channel, this energy. So it's become, in a way, almost like heaven, in the sense that YouTube allows us to seek the vibrations we recognize in these channels. People are vibrating at levels we can relate to. And so you always want to keep it something positive and a high. But this is a lot about getting clear about what you need to do in order to create your own heaven on earth. First house, Archangel Michael. Again, the sword of truth. What do you want? Be honest. I see many of you going on pilgrimages and trips, travel. The journey is the meaning, right? What is above you? Let go of the things that don't matter. Learn not to hold grudges. Once somebody says they're sorry and they've made real effort to change, you need to be a gentle being and let it go. Don't keep kicking someone when they've said they're sorry and they've done everything in their power to make amends. Be gracious when people do make an effort. Your past relationships and your new relationships take on new meanings, because by being a happier version of yourself and giving yourself permission to go off and do whatever you like, as long as it's positive, takes a lot of pressure off your loved ones. Makes you a better partner. Being happy makes you a better partner, co-worker. I see new relationships for many of you. A lot of you are focusing on health. Sunny days laying ahead. Many of you are entering into creative times. Final outcome, strong partnerships, both in business and in friendship. Unbelievably logical time for many of you. Emperor again, strong mental capacity. Love, partnerships for many of you. Yeah, so that's what I see. Nice. A logical time. Look at the 6th house. Mastery. Pick one thing in this lifetime to master. You only have to pick one karmically. If you want to have more than one, that's fine. But you know, mastery, usually, spirit guides will usually have you focus on one thing at a time. Yeesh. That was loud. So like my guides have had me focus a lot on my vocals and my music, because that's part of my dream, is to develop myself musically. Mm-hmm. I'm an Aries with my moon's in Aquarius, which I think is why I became a scientist. I like logic, but I also think that science should be fun. Oh, you're working on your new business. Yeah, there was a lot of people that are going into some really great partnerships. Oh, Jimmy Stewart was a Taurus? Well, he seems like a stable type of a person. Okay, so whenever we get the order, we will blitz away. I'm here for the next 20, 30 minutes, blitzing for people. If you have any questions for me, I think I got to all the announcements. Thank you to everyone who has become a member of the channel. Becoming a member really helps the channel. So we want to thank everybody who has joined both our Patreon and our YouTube channel memberships, which go to support the channel. Fairies and Angels is $2.99, and we do have a Saturday private salon for members. at the $2.99 a month, $2.99 a month. Not particularly expensive. If you would like to join our mystery school, we get together once a week and we study HCRV, remote viewing, etc. That is, we get together on Wednesdays, and I try to shoot 1 or 2 videos a month on the healing arts and the mystery schools as well, and that is at the Healers and Empaths level. It's $9.99 a month, and again, that also comes with free weekly classes in remote viewing. And finally, we're offering a benefactors package, which is $99 a month. And that gives you all the other benefits and also free consultations, medical intuition, etc. with me once a month. And you get to pick the time because benefactors get priority. So that is all of that. The Patreon channel, I put a lot of stuff on there as well. And the Patreon stuff is a lot of the music that I'm developing, learning about to do music. So that is all the announcements I have. I also want to say that our charity today is for justice and policing. Did I put the charity up? Can anyone see the charity? We are raising money in honor of Juneteenth, the massacre that took place on Juneteenth. And so we are raising money in honor of that, as we do every year. Through policing and social justice reform. Debbie, can you help me with see that? Let me just see if I can see. Let me see what I'm doing here. Okay, I think I did that right. Center for Policing. What is the name of it? Center for Policing Equity. Why do I always forget their name? We've run this charity like 3 or 4. A very complicated name. Anyway, they've done quite a lot of work in terms of just research. What I like about their organization is that it's science-based. What we know for sure can be implemented to help create safer communities, educating the police and policing, so we don't have any more, George Floyd's or all the other horror stories we've been hearing. Anyway, so that is our charity this month. Thank you, Jamie Johnson, for donating $5 to the Center for Policing Equity. Stem cells. Was there a question about stem cells, or are you talking about future stem cell research? Yeah, I mean, that is one of the theories about the aliens, is that it's all just genetic research. $12.99 for empaths and healers? Since when? It used to be, maybe. I don't know. It's $9.99 now. It's not $12.99. I can see the donation button, and what does it say? I don't think I charge people $12.99. Anyway, we get together once a week and we teach heart-centered remote viewing. It's Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. You can be certified if you would like to be a professional remote viewer. I think we're offering the cheapest prices on the planet. You don't have to show up every week. It's if you watch the tape, you can still get certified. So a lot of people will do the exercises. We want to see your notes. We want to see how you process data. If you attend 3 quarters and write a teaching manual, if we approve the teaching manual, at that point we approve you to teach. We currently have, I think, 5 HCRV practitioners here in the United States that are teaching certified. We have a few in Europe as well. So it depends on you. I mean, what do you want to do? What do you want to learn? Okay, let's get going here. Joanna Carson is the first question. Did the U.S. government look for the pieces of the mothership? That kind of shocked me when I went into the remote, where the primary directive at that point is keep yourselves alive and protect the equipment at all cost, and don't let it get into human hands. And the last thing we want to do is to kill somebody, but if anything's going to cause us to be aggressive, it would be an attempt to take our stuff. It's the reverse engineering. It's all of that stuff. You don't need to get this shuttle from us. Well, we've got a couple. No, you don't need another shuttle. That just blew my mind in the remote, because I've never served in the military, and so I don't know how military officers think. But I mean, I guess a way of imagining it would be like if you were to break down in the desert somewhere in Afghanistan and you've got a broken vehicle. You're gonna, just like that was their situation, only they didn't necessarily have 3 people trained to fight. And you just had a situation where, just like us, they took cover to protect themselves, right? And called for backup, which is exactly what a military would probably do, right? The US government was not able to retrieve anything. No. It didn't go anywhere. Probably burned on impact. Everything was destroyed. They literally, you know how a bus will break down? This is how it looked to me as a simple human. You're on a bus and the bus breaks down. I got to get to work. We're going to bring another bus, but this bus is going to get towed. You ever seen a bus get towed? It literally was like that. It was like a recovery crew came, got the ship, towed the ship out, and got them out of there. That is the best way. As a mere human, I could understand the situation. But no, the US was not able to retrieve anything from the ship, the traveling vehicle, the chariot, the burning chariot, right? Chariots of fire. Look at that. They did not know. This is the stopgap. They did not get the chariot. Isn't that cool? I love how the cards communicate with us. I love that. No to the chariot. Why? Why didn't they get the chariot? It broke up on impact. It's sparking a federal investigation. It sparked a massive investigation because of the leak. It's one of those things you can't put back in the box. A lot of people couldn't see the female alien in the tractor because they just physically couldn't see it. It was so pixelated. But now a bunch of people that know how to do that stuff are making it so you can really see her. Also, the image of the mirror in the tractor, which you can see that image much better than the image of her. So you can also try to look at the image of her in the tractor. But this is Feds, the hidden king, hidden information. They're going to try and, I don't know if this is a cover up, but it triggered some kind of federal involvement. A lot of stuff has been crashing, a lot of debris. Also, they abandoned debris. So they're telling me here that they abandon ships and things, that, stuff gets just space debris. It happens. Sometimes they'll just dump stuff and it will orbit back to Earth and crash that they haven't used in however long. So they're not happy about the fact that they haven't been able to retrieve stuff. So obviously there's this feeling that we want to retrieve this stuff. No, we got everything. That's what I don't like calling them aliens. Let's call them Joe. No, Joe is saying we got everything. Every single part of it we got. The chariot that broke apart, collected the pieces, we got it all. 9 of Pentacles, to hoard, to grab, to hold on to. Kind of like that guy in the back, right? That was going to shoot anybody that came near it. The hope and the fear of the pilot. First off, it's the worst case scenario that they train for, to be seen to have the operation compromised. Somebody's in trouble and it's not me. From their perspective, maintenance, our version of maintenance is going to be held responsible, not the flight crew. The flight crew is to be commended. They kept their cool. But there's this fear here of the consequences. 5 of Pentacles out in the cold after the crash. A judgment is coming down from the feds regarding this issue because it was a security breach. What do you guys think of those cards? It's not, again, they're not saying it's aliens. The feds are just saying it's triggering a reaction. There will be a federal reaction. You guys want to talk about it? I don't know. That's why we call it, I was born a whimsy. I fought it for the longest time. You must take me seriously. I am a scientist. And then I just gave up. You're born a whimsy. You need to just make peace with it. It's amazing how many people had compassion for the aliens, being frightened of these crazy folks in Vegas with their guns. That poor pilot ordering his co-pilot into a tractor, trying to keep her from getting killed. And here she is, just a simple scientist from another race with a motherboard, doing her job, trying to keep crazy screaming humans from shooting her. Yes, they've seen me. Get me out of here. I think they might shoot me. They've called 911, which means the cops are coming, which means they've got weapons and God only knows what they'll do. How is Joe and female? The female I named Lucy. I decided in this story to name the character the female Lucy in honor of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. Just like Richard Leakey discovered Lucy, the first fully intact Australopithecus africanus 3.4 million years ago. Named her Lucy. This is the first confirmed photograph, public, of a gray, so we can call her Lucy. She was the first of her kind, right? Though she probably is not enjoying the, she's probably not enjoying the notoriety. How is Joe and Lisa doing right now? Are they okay psychologically? They, based on what I was able to see, it's just like human military. They were debriefed. They were picked up by a recovery crew, and then their behavior, everything was analyzed, and they were debriefed. And the female co-pilot was commended for remaining calm and cool. Lucy was commended. Everybody was commended. They're not in trouble. Let's take a look. At their base, there's a lot of fighting. The scientists, the military, everybody's freaking out. They're freaking out because it's a security breach. It's an operation. They don't want the operation to be compromised. Their scientists and their military are yelling at one another about what to do. The feds are involved. Some kind of investigation. They'll take control of it. They're going to be okay. Magician card. There's going to be some kind of official statement from the feds that some of this stuff may have validity. Look at this. co-communication, feds. Biggest fear from their perspective, to be captured. Their biggest fear is to be captured by humans, not just to be seen. They don't want to be seen, they don't want to be captured, and they're afraid of our weapons. And they have made it very clear that other civilizations don't do this because it's such an insane thing to do, to build destructive to put all of your scientific research into imploding yourself. Most civilizations they've come across don't act like that. This is so bizarre in their universe to see a species spending so much time and effort in a mad race to see who can blow who up first is in and of itself fascinating to them. But their biggest fear is to be captured and contained. To be captured alive. Okay, we have another question. We're moving on. Thank you, Joel, for being moderator with me. And we are looking on Trump's mental health at this time. It's not looking good, right? They're cleaning up the pixelation. We're going to get a much better look of Lucy in the next few days. I feel bad for her. But every time I tune into her, she says, I'm fine. Just doing my job. Trump's mental illness. He can't be contained. This is a big fear for him. It was very traumatic when I was in the military academy, when they put me in that boarding school. The truth of the matter is it really took him over the edge. He went crazy from it. He can't be in that situation again. He doesn't want to. The military academy was very bad for his mental health. He can't be controlled. He can't be contained. You have to stop this. You have to make them not do this to me. He's very desperate that nobody do something to him that's going to contain him, because my initial thought as I go into this is that military school they made me go to was a nightmare. They're going to institutionalize me again. They're going to contain me again. In August, this will all go down in August. Something's going down in August. He's going to be contained. He's mentally insane. He has to be contained. But he says, don't do this to me again. This has happened to him again when they sent him begging and pleading, please don't send me to that place. It's going to happen in August. They're going to contain him. 7 of Wands. Closing in. This is a child begging. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of Maury Povich or one of those other shows where you don't know me. You don't know me. You can't make me go anywhere. You don't know me. Right? So Trump is like that. You can't tell me what to do. You don't know me. And then Sergeant Ray comes out. You're gonna go to the military academy, boy. No, mommy. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go with with him to the military. I promise I'll be good now. I promise. No, mommy. Begging. Being taken, right? Over there. We have to take you out. Defending. No. You can't take me. No, please. I'll be good. That's how it feels. Let's clarify. In August, there was a lot of discussion. We're not all on the same page about what to do with this guy, but what we can tell you is that we are containing him, that the threat has been contained. They're going to have him under psychiatric. This is psychiatric. Part of this is psychiatric. We weren't all, they're not all, the experts are not all on the same page about where to put this guy. 5 of Wands. He's mentally ill. Archangel Raphael. Sick. He's sick. The higher ethos of what to do. What do you think? I mean, this guy looks like he has the mental capacity of a 5-year-old who got caught doing something really bad, and now he's pleading with his mother. It's over in August. Yeah, look at this family dynamic. They're going in and they're containing him because he is a threat to his safety and the safety of other people, and he's begging and begging and begging and pleading for them not to contain him and control him, but they are. In plain words, the energy of those cards is such that his right to free determination has been taken away from him. It's over. He has no free determination based on those cards. They will take his phone. They'll take everything. Archangel Raphael, he's insane. They think he's crazy. Yeah. So if people have another question, we can keep moving on. I'll stay late. Unless somebody else is coming online. I don't want to. We try to be respectful of each other's time. If another reader comes on, I'll get offline. But if not, I can stay on a little longer. Yeah, a good point, Pam C8. He has arrested development, and it really feels to me. But my trauma went back to that military academy, which was the last time that they had it with me. The time when they finally took hold of me and said, "You're out of control." And evidently it was horrific for him based on that energy. And he's pleading not to have them contain and control him like that again. So this is a guy who will not have control. He doesn't have any self-determination by August. They're slowly taking away things. I mean, it's not just about Eric being the babysitter, boy, that's one we're getting right? Talk about a guy who is a glutton for punishment, man. Can you imagine being Eric, stuck with this type of responsibility? Talk about taking on more than you can control. I mean, you're putting yourself at risk of something when you take on the responsibility of somebody like this, because somebody like this can't be controlled or contained. I mean, like he will do everything in his power to resist it. So I got to hand it to Eric for being suckered into this when his 2 older siblings have taken off, and he's the one caught holding the bag, signing, vouching for that this guy is going to do what he asks him. It's just, I don't know. I think that we just have to wait to see it play itself out. But evidently, by August, this guy is just practically in a straitjacket based on those cards. I mean, 7 of Wands. I mean, they're closing in, and he doesn't want. So that's 7 of Wands energy. Geocosmic Valentine is asking, Eric Trump is on the spectrum, so it's got to be difficult for him. I didn't know if he was on the spectrum, but we can. I don't know what to say to the guy. I mean, he's really taken something on here that I don't know. None of the other kids are willing to do it. Ivanka took off. She's not going to be his babysitter. How's Eric doing? He took control of the situation, the magician, right? So he's taking control of the situation. In terms of his relationship with the feds, there are reasons why they didn't put any restrictions on him. And I think it really did have to do with this whole guarantee by Eric, that and the Secret Service, because there's something here about the feds being very confident, and there are things we don't understand about why they made this deal. So, because Eric has taken control, and as far as the feds are concerned, the hoarder's card, they have everything they need, right? So the feds are presenting with a hoarder's card. So I don't know. And it keeps talking about because of that this was determined. I think that they are viewing Trump as psychotic. That's, a deteriorating mental health, because they keep talking about his health. This is a health card. Tons of evidence against him. The treasure trove card can be an evidence card, or the Empress. In terms of Eric's future, they could transfer in the next few months. It is true that Trump could be transferred to another facility. I thought he might stay with Eric, but based on these cards, it's possible that he will go to a facility. Dang, I didn't expect that. What are they going to do? Take him outside the United States? The Three of Wands. Why would he get a Three of Wands? Are they really going to put this guy in Gitmo or something? Look at this. There's this world thing. The feds, again, here's federal officers, confident. The hoarding card next to a federal officer. Why is that? Stuff here I don't totally understand. Truth coming out regarding the health of something. Either he's something's seriously wrong with Trump's health. Look, the truth coming out. Archangel Raphael and Michael together. Oh my God, this is all going down right around the time that Fani Willis comes out, because this is Fani Willis's card, and it's associated with the treasure trove. See, this is Fani Willis, Queen of Wands, and there's the treasure trove. And isn't she coming out with her stuff in August? That would make sense. He must be transferred. That would be the only way. Something's happening that they're containing him with that Seven of Wands. And when you meditate on being him, and you be him in the Seven of Wands in August, that's exactly how I feel. It's like, no, mommy, no, I don't. Please, I'll do anything. I'll be good. It's like another military. It was like he's already been in a military prison, right? I don't think Trump's leaving. If he's leaving the country, it's because they've got him in a base in Gitmo or something. It'll be interesting to see how it plays itself out. Crazy times we live in. Oh, Carolyn said perhaps he'll be like a Napoleon in Corsica. What do you think? With those cards, the world card, the Three of Wands, which can be overseas, often headed east, Atlantic seaboard. You can see the Atlantic in that art piece. Two of Wands, you can see the Pacific. You can see the Three Sisters, right? So you're facing west with the Two of Wands. So when people travel, or if they're in the Pacific Northwest, or if they're headed west, but I use that card also for all of the Pacific Northwest. even parts of the South Pacific. I'll use 2 of Wands because it's the west direction. 3 of Wands, I'll use east direction and Atlantic. If I get like a 3 of Wands, which is east, and then I get a Knight of Swords together, when I see that kind of juxtaposition and someone's asking me about the weather, I'll be like, oh, damn, man, you're getting a hurricane over on the east side. If I see like a 3 of Wands touching next to a Knight of Swords, because Knight of Swords is violent wind energy, right? 3 of Wands is East Coast, inspired by the East, over the waters, often indicating outside the US, over the waters. Then the World card was over Eric. It was almost like Eric had agreed with the feds due to the severe mental health, due to the severe health problems of this individual, to assist in him being transferred somewhere over the next 3 months. That was basically how it looked. Isn't that crazy? With that kind of decline in mental health, if that's what's going on, of course Eric can't babysit this guy. This is out. First off, I don't think that Eric would have the right. This might be just a temporary thing. And secondly, I don't think the feds would agree with that with those cards. But this guy has deteriorating mental illness. My feeling is that he's a decoy. Like the Koch brothers are saying, well, we have renounced Trump, and so all is well. Yeah, but you're the problem more than Trump. The Heritage Foundation is a bigger problem than Trump. The Federalist Society and the people that fund this are the issue. He's the decoy. People are focusing on the decoy. That's precisely what the Koch brothers want you to do. Oh, don't worry, we dumped Trump, so everything is great. No, you'll just go find another fascist. Because the underlying problem isn't Trump, it's the people that put him in power. It's the money. It's following the trajectory of the money. It's the people in the boats. It's the people meeting in international waters to determine our lives and our right to choose and everything else, in a secluded area off the coast of Indonesia. We do it every year. We sit around and we talk about America's future and the Supreme Court docket, and you get to live what we want you to live, because we're a bunch of reptilian aristocrats giving you the illusion of a democracy. And being so arrogant and so confident that you're in charge that you actually can do that. You can take your mega yacht out into an area where you'll be able to do whatever. And Americans will be like frogs in boiling water as our rights are totally stripped away, and we're in a much more horrific situation, a world we never could have imagined under Carter, which is when this nightmare started, when they got rid of Carter, right? So, though they started chipping away at mental health in the I think it was mid 60s before Carter, but it's all been privatization. Okay. They want it all. They want it all. And they want your uterus. They want your babies. They want it all. And that's the danger of the aristocracy, isn't it? Right? They want it all. And if you believe that you are an aristocrat, what does that tell you about everybody else? Everybody else is not as human as you are. So it doesn't surprise me that they find these, when they break into these, nest of predators, it's a bunch of aristocrats, because we're not people to them in the technical sense of the word. I mean, that's really the thing I get with William. I mean, the mask came down. Yeah, he can put on the facade, the royals, when they have to spend 2 hours in public pretending that they like you, pretending that they're nice people, pretending that they respect you. But when they get recorded on a hot mic, these are the same people that were going to a private island, and Epstein, according to his testimony, was just feeding them their daily diet as predators. Don't blame me. I'm just feeding the predators. Why are you blaming me for? This is what they eat. Children for breakfast. Which is why, when you look at the early founders of the United States, they were doing everything in their power to put a stop to the monarchy. And in what John Adams said to us, power without restraint. Doesn't matter if you have a title or not. You see what's happening in Hollywood, for example. You worry about the mental health of actors, right? Actors are really incredible people. They're here to entertain us, make us happy, give us joy. It's a wonderful thing to be an entertainer and actor. It's a privilege, right? We want to keep our actors happy. Our musicians, our artists, we want to keep them safe. We appreciate them. But the powers that be, right? The aristocrats, the money. In Hollywood, same thing started to happen. The actors became toys and playthings. You had suicides and raped and dead bodies and blah, blah, blah. The same phenomenon started happening in Hollywood that was happening, in England, and still is to some extent, which was the socialist revolution, right? So it's unrestrained power. It's the biggest threat to our democracy, and it is, and from the perspective of the person that has all the power, of course you're not human like they're a human being. You're less than human. And so because you're less than human, it's easy to rape and kill you because you're not human like I'm a human. So that's the interesting dynamic for me when I see Meghan meeting William and just reaching out and giving him a hug and meeting someone's brother for the first time. And she entered into this weird psychopathy where how dare an inferior touch me? I can play the game. Oh, yes, in front of the press when the cameras are on, but let's be very clear what I really think of you. You're a mud person. You're never going to be one of us. Don't touch me. I'll smile to your face, but let's be clear. You'll never be one of us. You're an inferior. That's why I don't romanticize the royals. All right, Llama Brian, is Julian Assange going to come to the U.S. this summer? Oh, I think so. Let's take a look. He's another one that's having some health challenges. I'm surprised people are surprised by Epstein. You look at the woman, Anika, out of Belgium, what the Belgian aristocracy did to her. You should hear her story. Human sacrifice, because it's fun. And she's working with Interpol. This is a verified case. They were murdering kids because it's fun. I'd like to experience that. Can you make that happen? I want a hunting party like the good old days. Can you make that happen? Sexy. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it in the Rose Garden. Bring friends. Have it be an old-fashioned hunting party. Bring some of the sex slaves. We'll have them hide in the bushes. We'll capture them, torture them, shoot them. It'll be fun. Not good. Julian Assange, his karma has come. The feds got their wish. He tried to flee. Secrets. Let's take a look. Clarification. Ooh. they're going to work out a deal with Assange. That surprises me. He's under some kind of protection, but this guy, they come to an agreement with this guy. They're very confident with the evidence they have on him. Again, this is the hoarder's card over the evidence, karma with him. Feds got their wish. Look at that. It's about time. The sun coming. You said August. Yeah, August. They got their wish. The hope and the fear. He attempted to flee, a new beginning. Well, he fled in the Ecuadorian embassy, right? I mean, they weren't able to get him. Final outcome for Julian Assange is some kind of deal is made regarding the secrets. 10 of Cups would indicate a happy resolution. So say they agree to time served and house arrest or something like that in exchange for cooperation. 10 of Cups is a cooperation card. It's the happy family. So I think something is worked out. It's very interesting that a 10 of Cups is his outcome. But yeah, it's looking like he will come in about August. The Sun card is usually around the time of August. So here's an interesting point that Pomona makes about the hunting parties, and how long have these hunting parties been going on, that the aristocrats documented cases of people witnessing, like 2 of the Native American kids that were able to flee the hunting. They ran away, they escaped in the woods, and then they were able to give testimony that they were told to run. They were given like a 10-minute heads up. And that was a sworn testimony out of Canada. And they were told that they could. Make it happen. Canadian government, well, we're trying to quell Native American populations. Let's have ourselves a good old-fashioned hunting party. Take these innocent children from their mothers, from this particular tribe. Want to go on a picnic? The guy was going to testify, the guy that escaped, and they poisoned him. That's the royals. Well, there were 2 witnesses. Both died, right? Both the kids that escaped died. They were both killed. But it was determined that one of them was poisoned. Nice people. Why would it be any different? If you are told your entire life that you're up here and that God made you king, if you're up here, where am I? Kathy, if you'd like to hear Anika's story about being a sex slave in Belgium, and she is, they've confirmed her story is true. She's given testimony, and she's also given testimony in Europe to Interpol. But she was sold when she was about 7, 8 years old in Belgium, and she was passed around in a network. And at one point, they were going to exterminate her, which is what they were doing to a lot of kids. Well, we've had our fun. Another fun thing to watch, right? You sit in the pit. She talked about the pit, right? Kids being tortured, aristocrats sitting and having their cocktails. Ooh, I'd like to see that in the pit. Strapped her to a wood thing, and they were about to kill her. And one of the aristocrats said, I think I could use that one. Don't kill her. I'll take her. I'll give her to some of the parliament people. So he sent her around and shared her with members of parliament, other countries, because she was about to be killed in the pit. All documented, all verified. Got to give up these fantasies people have about princesses and all of that stuff. All right. Any last questions before we say goodbye, my loves? That was a rather unpleasant conversation, but necessary. Because like we're any better. Look at Hollywood. They think that there are bodies buried at the Playboy Mansion. Why didn't the feds raid the Playboy Mansion years ago? Plenty of evidence that there was human trafficking taking place. Sex slaves from all over the place shipping them in. Where were the feds? Why didn't they raid the mansion? Power unrestrained, right? All right, let's check out Navalny, and then I think we'll call it a day. What is going on with Navalny? The video is in my community comments page. It's the testimony of Anika, the documentary. And she also gave testimony to members of parliament in Belgium, and she's also given testimony in Interpol. But if you go to our community pages, she gave 6 testimony. It's in 6 parts. Everything from when her mother, who was mentally ill, sold her, to the whole thing, how she was trafficked, who was involved. Navalny, more court ahead for Navalny. They don't want to release Navalny. If the question is about whether or not Russia will release Navalny, he's got a core group of people that are really fighting for his rights. Look at that. Look at this advocacy. The Russians don't know what to do with him. See, they don't fear of the world, fear of theft. He might be released, but he might have limited travel. They're kind of between a rock and a hard place with him. I don't see murder, if that's your question. All right. Thank you, everyone, for a really fun afternoon. I certainly enjoyed it. I know some of you are not into aliens, but I try to give we have all kinds of people that watch the show, and it was requested that we do a little bit on the aliens. And so I've never done that before. I thought it would be fun. All right. If you're trying to get in for a reading, you can find my information below. If you need just a 5-minute quick video, no big whoop, you can request a Wizio. I'll send you a taped video. Usually takes about a week to get it back. If you need to see me as a medical intuitive, that information is also below. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe. Have fun. Happy Father's Day. And if you are going to Juneteenth events, please stick together and stay safe. All right. Be well, everyone. Thanks again for the donations. I will see you next time.